Hello, welcome to Furry and Spoiled. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I got my dog to lose weight. So this is Harry here. He is a real mix of breeds, mainly Basset Hound crossed with King Charles Spaniel. So he's got the real barrel body of the Basset Hound and then the little legs and the head of the King Charles Spaniel. He's also got the mentality of a King Charles Spaniel, which is to just eat all the time and put on weight, and the Basset Hound to just naturally be very slow. So he's got a kind of a bad mix of stuff there. And there's other dogs in him. There's Bichons in him, there's Beagle. There's a real mix. But unfortunately, the Basset Hound and the King Charles that are prone to putting on weight are his two main dog breeds. And so putting on weight is something that happens with him, and I have to really watch it. Now recently he put on more weight than I'm happy with, and I couldn't work out why. And then I've discovered it's because he's been eating the bird seed in the garden, and I've changed it to sunflower seeds, and he was eating a lot of sunflower seeds, and therefore that was making him put on weight. I thought he was just sniffing around, and he wasn't. He was eating sunflower seeds, and it made him very fat. And so I've changed where we feed the birds, fenced it off so that he can't get to them anymore. But he's lost 1 kilo recently, so I'm very pleased with that. And I'm just going to run through now some things. So the first thing is that I looked at diet food, and that absolutely is not the way forward. The composition on it is shocking. It's really bad for them. There's no nutritional value at all. If you don't understand how to read the ingredients in dog food, I've got a whole video on it. I'll stick it up at the end. It's really worth reading it, because dog diet food is not the way forward. You'd be much better off to give them a really good quality protein food, high protein food. And that's all in the composition, and it's all in that video. And that protein will help fill them up. So fill them up with protein, not because that diet food, that's just full of cereals and grains. So apart from the fact there's no nutrition, cereals and grains are terrible for them. So you can see how he's lying now. He's got the real barrel shape of the Basset Hound and the little legs of the King Charles. Anyway, we are getting there. Right, so that's my first thing. The other thing is when he's out on walks, so obviously exercise is incredibly important. Getting lots of exercise. But when we're out on our walks, he is really bad for picking anything up to eat. And one day he picked up a pasty, a whole pasty. We live near a bakery, and someone had dropped this pasty. And in the seconds it took me to get from where I was to him, he had scoffed down that whole pasty. That's his mentality. Now, it's not because he's hungry, because if he was hungry, he wouldn't be putting on weight. So it's just his mentality. Scoffed down a whole pasty. I was sure he was gonna sick it back up, and he didn't. Then I was really concerned about bloat and different things, because he's just ate this pasty whole. So I was kind of like on standby all day to go to the vets. It never happened. But you can just imagine. But he's always looking for stuff to eat on our walk. Cat poo being his favourite, which apart from the fact I don't want him eating cat poo for obvious reasons, but there could be medication in that cat poo, flea treatment, all sorts of things, and it's just I've really got to watch him. And there are some areas where I know the cat poo is a bit worse, and I'll pop him on the lead for that and keep him close on a short lead, because it's just not worth it. So there's something to watch. There's something else that I do with their treats. Now, I do a lot of training with my dogs, especially Harry, because he is a rescue and he was very treated incredibly badly. So he was very nervous and very scared, and so I do a lot of training with him because he's really good at it, and it builds his confidence, and he's doing really well. Someone's cutting their grass outside. Sorry if you're picking that up. And so what I did, the first thing I did was I just cut all treats in half. Everything. So in the morning they have like a teeth cleaner chew thing, and I cut it in half. I cut everything in half. Training treats, I would break them down to the tiniest little speck, and just cut everything in half. After we've had our dinner in the evenings, just before they go to bed, they get a little treat, but it used to be quite a big treat, and now I've cut that in half. And then what I did that for about a month, and then I cut everything in half again. And they didn't really notice, and they didn't mind, so they still get the whole experience of having a treat, but it's cut down. So I cut them immediately in half, and then after a month I cut everything in half again. so I cut it right down. Obviously, if you are giving tidbits and bits of your food, just stop it. Just stop it. I know it's hard. I know they give you the eyes. I know it's really, really hard. But them being really fat is not going to do them any good. Can I just point out how he looks a whole lot fatter there than he really is? He looks like he's got a great big belly. He hasn't. He's barrel shaped. He's actually quite solid, but he has still got more weight on him than I want him to have on him. But he is. He's actually quite solid. He just looks worse there, but he's still overweight. So yes, cut out all tidbits. Stop it. I know it's hard, and make sure your family aren't doing it and all of that. It's really, really, really important you do that. The other thing we do is that you have to be careful of is that I feed my boy salmon because the oil in it does their skin so much good. I also give my other dog coconut oil because if you've watched my video on hot spots and itchy skin and all of that, or what I feed my dogs, you'll know why I do that and how important it is. But obviously they're oily. That's the whole point of it. That's why I feed them to them. And so what I do with Harry is I don't give him the coconut oil. I just give him the salmon oil. And that gets into his skin because he has got some bichon in him. So I've got to be aware that they're so prone to itchy skin. So I give him the salmon oil, but I don't give him any coconut oil. If you've got a dog that's having coconut oil and salmon oil because they've got really itchy skin, you need to look at their diet. Make sure you're feeding them the right diet. Make sure there's no grains and there's no cereals. Go and watch the video on hot spots. Make sure your diet is okay, because then you should be able to reduce the coconut oil. So I'm not saying to stop it because I think it's invaluable for any itchy skin problems, but maybe reduce it. Just have a look at it. Just be a bit aware that that is pure fat. But I'm not saying to stop it, and I haven't stopped it. So like I said, what I've done is I'm not giving him the coconut oil. But he's never been a really itchy dog. It's my other dog, little Albert, that's a terribly itchy dog. Well, he's not because I've treated it, but Albert is incredibly prone to it. But Harry here, he really isn't. So he just gets the salmon oil just to keep his skin nice and moisturised. So just be aware of that, any hidden oils and stuff like that. The other thing is that there's two ways that I monitor his weight. We do weigh. Now, if we go to the vets, then I stick him on the scales there. Like I said, I did that recently, and because it's just easier to just run in there and quickly weigh him, and he has lost 1 kilo, so I'm pleased with that. Weigh them at home. If your dog's small enough, I can't lift Harry like that, but my husband can. So my husband gets on the scales, weighs himself, and then picks Harry up, gets back on the scales. We take down that weight, and then we minus what Rob weighed from the whole weight, and that gives us the weight that Harry is. I'm going to say it one more time because I think I made that sound complicated. So you stand on the scales and you weigh yourself. So supposing you weigh, I don't know, let's just say, to be nice, let's say you weigh 2 stone. I know nobody weighs 2 stone. Supposing you weigh 2 stone, and then you pick your dog up and you get on the scales and you weigh. Actually, no, that's actually a tip. Don't do it in stone. Do it in kilos, because that's how vets work. That's how all medication works. Do it in kilograms. If you can switch to kilograms, do it in kilograms. If not, do it in pounds and stone, but then go onto Google and convert it. You need to know what your dog weighs in kilograms. So get onto the scale. Supposing, I don't understand kilograms in humans. So get on the scale. Supposing you weigh 50 kilograms, I don't know. Supposing you weigh 50 kilograms. And then you pick your dog up, you get on the scale, and you weigh 60 kilograms, and you know your dog weighed 10 kilograms. Now, I know that my boys, or Albert needs to be always under 10 kilograms, and Harry needs to always be under 15 kilograms. He's 15 kilograms at the moment, so I just need to get him under that. So he hasn't got to lose an awful lot, and perhaps another kilo. And like I keep pointing out, don't be looking at him going, oh, he's really fat. He's not. He's barrel shaped. That's solid, that middle bit, but he does have weight to lose. So that's we do that. But also I do a lot of just looking at him. Now, where his weight crept up was in the winter. He's got really big curls, and in the winter we had his fur quite long to keep him warm, and that was when his weight kind of crept up, because when you'd be like stroking him and that, you'd be running your hands through his curls, and I just wasn't, you know, I think that's how the kind of the weight started to creep on when he was eating the birdseed. So just, I mean, at the moment he's really, really short for the summer. So I just I'm always stroking my dog's massage. I'm always there. And I'm just really keeping an eye on, you know, how much, if I can pinch more than an inch, and just keeping an eye on it. Looking at them, you know, yeah and no, it kind of doesn't work with him, because if his curls are big, it's deceptive. But feeling them, just really feeling them, really keeping an eye on that. But also the way in, because you do need to know if your dog's so big that you can't do the picking up thing. Just go to the vet. You haven't got to make an appointment. Just go to the vets and just say, oh, can we stand on your scales? I mean, actually saying that only works if the scales are in the waiting room, which ours are. But ask them and just you know, just pop in for a weigh. And do it that way. That's everything. So I am absolutely gutted this has happened to Harry. I'm so annoyed with myself that I didn't notice that he was eating the birdseed. I thought he was just out there sniffing around. I'm so really annoyed with myself that I didn't notice he was actually eating the birdseed and then work out that's the problem. Now I'm hoping that now that I've worked out the problem and I've got the birdseed down the bottom of the garden, fenced off so he can't get to it, I'm hoping that the weight's just really going to come off now, because, you know, like I said, all treats have been cut in half. Because what he's eating now, he wasn't fat before. So everything that he's on now, he wasn't fat before. So the fact that I've cut down all the treats as well should mean that the weight loss comes off. You don't want it coming off too quickly, but it comes off nice and steady. And then once he's down to where he is, I could probably maybe up the treats a bit more if I want to. We'll see how we go with that. But his food hasn't, the amount of food he's never changed. So it's not that. I know what it is. I know it's the seeds. We all know that sunflower seeds have an awful lot of fat in them. And I'm not quite sure how much he was eating, because like I said, he looked to me like he was sniffing around in the grass and around the bushes and plants and stuff, and the little monkey's been eating the seeds. So that's what you've got to watch. You know, the thing is, some dogs just have the mentality, don't they, of always eating, and other dogs don't, and he really has that mentality of just always eating. You drop something on the floor in the kitchen or when you're cooking or anything, he's there at the speed of light to get that. And it's just that mentality, and it's just something that I'm going to have to watch with him, because he really does have that mentality. Whereas my other little darling, he doesn't have it at all, and we have no weight issues with him at all. So anyway, that's it. That's all I've got to say on the matter. Please, if you've got any tips or any advice on how you've cut your dog's weight down, please let me know, because like I said, I'm in this journey at the moment, and other people will need the help. And yeah, that's it. Keep going with it, because obviously I don't need to tell you how bad it is for a dog to be overweight, apart from the fact it's really bad for their joints. But it's also terrible for them in the heat, and we all know how quickly a dog can die from heat exhaustion. So it's terrible for them in the heat, and it's just not good for them. You know, it's not good for us, it's not good for them. So you know, we all know. So I shall be working at this, and you know, you'll see Harry in video, so hopefully you'll see him slimmer and slimmer. So like I said, any tips at all, I would really welcome them, so pop them in comments. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, Furry and Spoil. There's the hashtag Furry and Spoil. Yeah, all over there. So pop over and say hello. I'd love for you to come over and say hello over there. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a really lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.